So, hey Virgo, my name is Chris, and guess what? I'm Virgo as well. And here comes the spread. Okay, so I'm not doing the Celtic Cross. This is the Spring 2026 reading, by the way. So you're going to like this because it starts here with the 10 of Cups, the Strength card, the Queen of Cups, and the Magician. You're going to like this because 2026, spring especially 2026, is really the beginning of the next cycle, the next circle, so to speak, developmental circle. We've just closed the old. 2025 was pretty intense. Shadow stuff was going on throughout the last 9 years. When you think about the last 9 or 10 years, this year is completion, right? That's kind of the 10th year of a cycle and the start at the same time of the new cycle. There is happiness here. There is the 10 of Cups here. There is, oh my God, that's really good. There's the Ace of Swords. What else we got? The Star card. And there is the 5 of Swords, that's for sure. So the 5 of Swords is pretty much this energy where you're coming from a pretty dirty conflict. Foundation, the new beginning with the Fool card, the 3 of Pentacles. And there is the 7 of Swords, right? 6 of Swords at the foundation. So, first of all, you're kind of growing up here, or have grown up in the last few cycles. In the last 7 to 9 years, usually the first 2 years are kind of good, and then it goes downhill from there if it's a darker cycle. And we certainly had winter to the last 9 years. Winter is over. This is the spring reading. It's not just spring 2026, it's spring after the last developmental circle that was definitively on the darker side. So you have gone through this and you have arrived here at fortune after difficulty. You're arriving here at spring. This is your energy, which is a marvelous, beautiful energy. 10 of Cups, there's the rainbow, there's a happy home, there's family, there's friendship, there is kinsmanship. That's what I hear. So just, good people, a good frequency, a good place to be, both externally and internally. You're just arriving back home at yourself. That's beautiful. You arriving there in this new beginning, you're going to meet good people. That's the foundation here. Kind of the column that holds the whole thing is pretty much the 3 of Pentacles, the new beginning in this new consciousness. Meeting good people, but meeting them on eye level, right? It's not a hierarchical team here, right? Everybody brings her own talents and unique skills to that project that is kind of bigger than anything each of these people alone could ever do or build. They're building a cathedral here, right? So you need someone who has the plan, you need an architect, you need masons, you need somebody who's financing the whole thing, right? It's a complete conditioned co-production, right? You can't do it alone. It's so much bigger than anything that you alone could do. And this is the new beginning. This is the new cycle for you. The center of you is you resting within yourself. You are being enough. You have integrated your shadow, something like that in the last 9 years. When you look at the last 9 years and you look back and think about what you've been through, you can identify a few shadow aspects that 10 years ago were a problem, or you could be easily triggered by them, but not anymore. Queen of Pentacles, fertile ground, 4 of Swords, right? Clarifying kind of the 5 of Swords. That's interesting. That's beautiful. There's the 3 of Pentacles again, kind of the bridge from the 10 of Cups here in the center to the 3 of Pentacles. So you got 2 times the 3 of Pentacles here So you're really resting within yourself. You're being yourself. There's the Star card a second time. We got the Star card here as well. The Ace of Cups is also very interesting. You have renewed yourself. You kind of went through the circle, caterpillar, and then you went into a little cocoon and isolated yourself maybe a little bit. And now you're just a butterfly, right? You are completely transcended and integrated your own shadow stuff, right? And now you're attracting different people. Why? Because you're resting within yourself. In your 10 of Cups here, center, being at home within yourself. That's a beautiful thing, right? And then you're attracting people who are on the same vibe, on the same frequency. There are always naysayers, there are always narcissistic people, right? There's the swords action here, right? So there are naysayers, there are people who are envious of your blessings here, of your success, you're completely vibing with the universe. You're just in resonance, in alignment. And if you are in alignment with yourself, then everything you do is kind of just radiating abundance and success and joy. And it's kind of sparking the same frequency within people that you meet. And that's very magical. That's beautiful. That's the Star card. 2 times the Star card. 2 times the Three of Pentacles. So you're really, it's not love, it's not necessarily friendship, but it's very professional, respectful cooperation, right? You're just meeting people who are on the same level as you are, and you can co-create with these people, and you got the universe totally on your side. Supportive energy. 2 times the Star card. That's both the smaller clarifier deck, bottom of the deck, and the big deck, bottom of the deck. No, not bottom of the deck. It's here in the center, right? The Star card. So 2 times the Star card, 2 times the Three of Pentacles. There's the Queen of Pentacles, right? Fertile ground. Everything is coming into fruition. No worries about money or anything. Absolutely beautiful. New beginning in strength. You're not fighting your shadow. You're not trying to hide yourself or aspects of yourself. But you during the last few years, you have looked at them, or at these shadow aspects of yourself. And you just said, yeah, Tatvam Asi, and that too, right? And you didn't, shove them under the rug or try to hide them or, wear a mask all the time. That's very horrible, actually. Most people do that, but you stop doing that, and that's fantastic, right? That's really, really, you deserve this. 10 of Cups here in the center, and this is kind of a self-actualized version of yourself. The Magician is here. Inner strength is here. The Strength card, the Queen of Cups, Queen of Pentacles, you being in control of your emotions, of your fire aspect, of your passion. You're not easily triggered. You're not easily manipulated. If you're constantly easily triggered because of guilt, fear, shame, right? Insecurity, things that you hide from yourself. If you're hiding stuff from yourself, they're narcissistic people, right? And they're still around here. That's the 7 of Swords guy, right? You're not going to change the world. They're not going away, right? Narcissistic people. But you can learn from them, and you have learned from them, from their abuse in the last few years, most likely. And the way they operate is basically to sniff out your insecurities. They know exactly what you're ashamed about, what you're afraid about, what you feel guilty of. And then they play you on that fear, guilt, shame stuff. And that only works if you are hiding aspects of yourself, if you are trying to cut off things that belong to you. You shove them under the rug. You try to glance over it. You try to wear a mask. You try to, But if you live in an open and free society, you as a human being can be who you are. And a society that does not allow you to be who you are right? Who is kind of pushing you into hiding aspects of yourself. That is an oppressive society because it is enabling narcissistic people to take advantage of that and manipulate people through guilt, fear, shame. Very important. Go back and play that again because that was really on point. Very, very important. And you've learned that. And you're showing up here, 10 of Cups, right? 10 of Cups, the Fool card, Strength card, the Magician, also very, very powerful. You developed a new consciousness, a new version of yourself, self-actualized, shadow integrated. And because you know your shadow, you can sit in the sun and really face the sun and be happy about it and attract more of that, right? Because you're not afraid of looking back into your shadow, right? There it is. There's my shadow, there's the sun. They always come together. That's part of me. It's part of you too. But if you hide one aspect of yourself, someone can come along and say, ah ha ha, ah ha ha, point to that shadow aspect, and you shrug, you go down in frequency, guilt, fear, shame, and then you can be manipulated. That's what you have overcome. That's shadow integration. You own all of yourself, not just the lovey-dovey, light-hearted parts, but also the shadow side, right? And you have done that, and that's why nobody can play you. This guy here is trying to trigger you, guilt, fear, shame, right? But you are already won the fight. 5 of Swords. That's kind of somebody's trying to entangle you in old patterns of guilt, fear, and shame. You're not taking the bait, right? Why? Because you love yourself. You fully integrated your shadow aspect. You're not afraid of yourself, right? You're not afraid of being who you are, 100% authentically you, right? Even all the weird porn that you've watched, if you are a guy. I don't know, do women watch porn? I watched a few, weird. But that's no problem. Men do that, period, right? So own your shadow, or be feeling guilty because you're bisexual or gay or trans or whatever label you can think of, right? You're Protestant in the Catholic area, you're Catholic in a Protestant. There are so many ridiculous, stupid, innocent, nonsensical things that people worry about and feel guilty and ashamed and afraid about. And people can take and are taking advantage of this. And if you haven't noticed this during the last 7 years, you totally missed something. But you have definitively noticed it. You developed a lot of, strengths. Inner mastership according to your emotions, inner mastership according to your fire and your impulses. You're no longer reacting to triggers. You're responding. And only responding if you think that whatever is encountering you deserves a response, right? And that's your decision, and that's powerful frequency to be in. And I'm very happy that you're finally meeting people like that, right? So narcissistic people still around. You can't change the world there, and the key to it all is not react. Do not react. Do not run. Do not let anybody take away your inner peace. They're always trying to rush you, right? They're always trying to create some urgency or some discomfort that tries to push you into a reaction. And if you can, that's pretty much how you win this always. This is an ongoing thing. It's not like you learn this once and then you're done. You learn this once, probably the hard way if you have to do some shadow work about it, which you totally have done, right? But the way it's not done once, it's something that you just do on a regular basis almost. That's second nature to you. And it has to become second nature to you because it will always be tested by narcissistic people. And the best way to deal with this is just to protect your inner peace, the 10 of Cups here in the center. Protect your stability, protect your inner peace. That's the most important thing. Because if you have inner peace, You're not in a hurry. You're not rushing. You're not running. You're not feeling a constant sense of urgency. You're not in shame, guilt, fear. You're much higher in frequency. Inner peace is actually one of the highest frequency you can be. And maybe I'm just going to show this somewhere here, right? So whenever somebody's trying to trigger you, somebody's trying to test you, you just remember that, you just remember that and keep your cool, right? And there's one quote here that I just picked, right? Erasmus, maybe you heard about this kind of medieval, super intellectual Erasmus. I believe in listening to both sides with openness. I love liberty. I will not and cannot serve any faction. So there's that one thing that narcissistic people try to trigger you, and you learned your lesson not to get triggered. Why? Because there's nothing to be ashamed, to be afraid, to feel guilty of, because you fully transcend and integrated the whole of your being, a self-actualized being. Beautiful. But we live and we learn, right? And not everybody has done that, right? So you just have to keep in mind that even these shadow aspects, even the narcissist himself or herself, right, serves a purpose. The shadow aspects, the darker aspects of life, of people, of society, whatever, they too, Tatvam Asi, and that too has its purpose and its right to be here. Just like you have the right to be here, and please do remind you on a daily basis that you have every right to be who you are, unapologetically so. If you live in a free country, that should be a given and not a question. Actually, the state should protect that possibility and make it an actuality for everybody. That's actually the highest principle, but not always the case, unfortunately. You just be you. You're not being rude about it. You just state your will. You state your truth. You speak your truth. You don't need to scream. You don't need to intimidate anybody. You don't need to... You don't need hierarchical things. You just make your point, state your truth, right? Calm and resting within yourself. And then nobody really can trigger you. But that trigger is kind of a test from the universe, right? Did you learn the lesson? Did you forget the lesson? No, you learned the lesson. You still remember. That's good. So have a nice day, right? So here's another one. There are actually two. Let's just take two, okay? First of all, don't blame a clown for acting like a clown. Ask yourself why you keep going to the surface. And this is with the Seven of Swords. Do not go to the circus if you don't like the clowns. Do not entertain the BS of a narcissist. Do not play along. Do not say yes if you mean no. Do not nod if you actually want to shake your head. Things like that. Do not be awake and resting within yourself enough to not entertain any BS, right? And then that's the one side of it. You being unapologetically you. And then realizing, observe what you dislike in others, right? Seek those traits within yourself. Unlearn them, and this is how you nurture self-love. So whatever you encounter, you can say, okay, this has nothing to do with me, that's a narcissist trying to trigger me. Might be true, right? And you have every right to say that, but always, how do you say this? Respect reflections, right? Respect reflections. If somebody is trying to trigger you and there's nothing to trigger, this person will leave you very quickly because she's not getting any energy. They're energy vampires. You're not entertaining their BS. You're not giving them attention or energy. So they go away because there's nothing to get for them. But having said that, respect reflections, right? Always be smart enough and compassionate enough to yourself for yourself, not in the moment when you're dancing with a narcissist or some narcissist is, trying to entangle you in some conversation or whatever. But if you're at home, if you're meditating, if you're having your spiritual practice, which is grounding, which is meditation, breath work is very important, right? Meditation. Then by all means, think about what just happened. Maybe you have a diary, right? Writing something down, reflecting on it. Does that have anything to do with me? This person was trying to trigger me in this or that way. First of all, are those still trigger points? Is there something down there that I should take care of, right? Is there something unintegrated within me that has been triggered? Is it something within me that I can work on? Then by all means, work on it, transcend and integrate it. But if there is not, then you can just say, oh no, there's nothing. That's nothing to do with me. That's just a projection. But there's no resonance within me. And if there's no resonance within me or within you, then that has nothing to do with it. But if something reappears, that usually means when something reappears in the outside world, doesn't have to be the case. There are super manipulative people who can even manufacture that, who really want to bug you, right? Stalking or something like that. That's not what I'm seeing here, but just telling you how to deal with stuff. If it has something to do your homework and work on it, and also have healthy boundaries and create some discomfort if somebody oversteps them. But all that I'm talking about, right, is practically what you have learned. And now you're applying it. But you're applying it in mastership. You're applying it with good company, people on the same frequency, people who have gone through probably the same dark night of the soul, shadow integration process. You're going to meet them. There's a beautiful new beginning. You totally resting within yourself, inner harmony, self-actualization. You're making something happen. There is a big idea that you're creating, that you're making happen. The universe totally supportive. And guess what? There are two things you can do to piss off people. You can speak the truth. Always works, right? Speak the truth. Everybody's going to hate you, right? Speak the truth or attain some happiness. So you either speak the truth and get some trouble because people are dumb as F, right? And don't like the truth. They like to hide from themselves. Shadow integration is not everybody's cup of tea, right? So usually people flee from that. They don't want to see anything that has to do with their shadow aspects, right? They want to get rid of them. They want to negate it. Only a handful of people actually work with their shadow. And that's the only way how you can cultivate inner peace, by the way, right? How you can transcend and integrate your own being instead of just constantly projecting it onto whatever you don't like on yourself. You project it onto other people and fight it there. That's what most people do. And if you stop that bullshit, you literally make peace with the world. Why? Because you're no longer projecting bullshit that is part of yourself onto the outside world and to fight it there. And to make peace with yourself, therefore, means to make peace with the world, right? That's what you're doing, what you did, but not everybody does that. And you're going to make something happen here. You have a great idea. The universe is helping you and you're making it totally connected to your inner peace. And as I said, it might have something to do with speaking the truth and being really, really happy about it. So speak your truth or be happy. And you're speaking your truth and you are happy. So, there are two things that never fail to piss off people. Speaking the truth and being happy. And you're speaking the truth and being happy. And that explains why you're kind of attracting all these people who are not ready to love themselves, to speak their truth, and to be happy. But you don't care about them. That's, if you're successful, if you're speaking the truth, if you're happiness, there will always be naysayers. you know, they are just there. Don't, what else we got? Yeah, don't fight windmills, right? Concentrate on what you want to create. And you're totally doing this beautiful reading. Yeah, let's just do one Blue Angel Oracle deck card. I think I talked about way too many things here already. That's Synchlotron 39. Let's just see what this is all about. It's been a while since I had that. Infinite possibilities, right? Think outside the square, beyond the limits of your thoughts. It is possible to think to your heart. Try it. Infinite possibilities exist inside you. There are ideas and creative solutions from beyond your physical reality. You can create all your heart desires. Feel the imaginative impulses transmitted from beyond space-time. There are worlds within worlds and entire universes within a particle of light. Through this card, you can see and randomly create. This is a card of joyful creation. All you wish to be can now be. Keep the greater good of all in mind and let there be love in all that you do. That's what I always say. Did you just hear what this card said? Which is completely, and I might say you're not just creating, you are with 2 times the Three of Pentacles. So you're super happy, you're co-creating, you got Magician, super creative processor, right? There's your idea, that's the manifestation of the idea, that's you being totally happy, and there's co-creation, other people who vibe on the same frequency. And there's so much to give thanks to be grateful for. 2 times the Star card, right? We talked about that, right? 2 times the Star card. So don't jump down into the mud with the pigs. They want you down there. Do not jump down into the mud with the pigs. Do not, if you don't argue in the comments section, right? That would be a waste of time. But you got, something to do. Don't jump down into the mud with the pigs, right? And then you're just co-creating stuff. Wonderful. Beautiful. That's really, really infinite possibilities. To this card, you can see and randomly create. Joyful creation, right? That's just beautiful. So one spirit animal card. Time to collaborate. What am I freaking saying? Time to collaborate. 2 times the Three of Pentacles, and then you got and Spirit. Time to collaborate. So time to collaborate not with these people. So you have to be very, you can create, you have a very big manifestation power right now. So, but you have to uphold your standards, right? You have to create what you want, not fighting the old system, not fighting what you don't want, but focus all of your attention on what you want. And be that, vibe that frequency. If you want self-actualized people who are not afraid of themselves, then be a self-actualized being who is not afraid of themselves or ashamed or feel guilty or whatever, right? Just be that, and you vibe that, and you get that, period. And that's all I got. And if that's going to be a fantastic spring 2026, I'm happy for you, and I'm happy for me because I'm Virgo too. Yay. So beautiful. I hope that made sense to you. If it did make sense, if you got something out of it, share, like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think about it. Don't argue in the comment section, but by all means, let me know what you think about it. Very well appreciated. Thank you so much, and check out the 2026 yearly reading. And that's all I got. Now, I see you next time. Ciao.